Greetings. Hi, I'm Dr. Walter Jacobson, a board certified psychiatrist. A friend of mine mentioned the law of unintended consequences. I don't know if it actually is a law of some sort, but the idea being that sometimes we do things and we expect that certain things will result. There will be certain consequences of our actions, and we don't take into account the possibility that other things might happen that we had not expected or anticipated. And that's always a mistake, to assume that you're going to do A, B, and C, and then that's going to lead to D, E, and F. And a lot of times it doesn't work that way. Sometimes you do A, B, and C, and you come out with G, Q, and whatever. It doesn't work. Something goes wrong, a fly in the ointment, something you didn't expect. The universe sends you a curveball. It is a chaotic universe, with many infinite needs of an infinite number of people, all wanting to get what they want. So the world is complicated. We can't predict everything. But what we can do is, before we take any kind of action, it's really important that any kind of action that may have significant consequences, it's really important to review them carefully, to review potential consequences carefully, so that you may, and if you examine, okay, what are all the possible things that could happen if I do this? What are the things that I don't expect to happen that might happen? So you try to anticipate what the unintended, unexpected consequences of actions might be. You try to brainstorm and extrapolate and anticipate as best as possible. Do the mental exercise, and so that you have a better chance of not being blindsided by something going wrong, something that you did not expect, something that was unintended. You didn't want that to happen. So what's really important is, not only do you do this exercise of thinking about all the possible things that might go wrong, you'll also want to ask yourself, okay, if something like that, if something bad might happen, that might go wrong, how would I feel about it? Would I be okay with that unintended consequence? If not, then maybe you should not do the action you're thinking about, even if the consequence is extremely unlikely. You got to weigh out frequency, potential possibilities, but like, say, for example, you're thinking, oh, I think I can steal something from my boss. Now, I think I can get away with it. And the odds are pretty good, like 99%, that I can get away with it. But you got to think about the possibility. Well, what if there's like that 1%? What if you've got this brilliant plan, and the unintended deal is that you didn't expect somebody else to be at the office at 2 in the morning while you're there trying to steal something, and this other person just happened to show up. They didn't mean to, but they forgot their keys. Who knows what? You couldn't anticipate it. You didn't expect it. You assumed that nobody would bother you. But let's suppose that someone does. That 1%, that small possibility that some person shows up and catches you in the act, and you end up getting fired, or perhaps even going to jail. You got to ask yourself, would I be okay with being fired? Would I be okay with having to defend myself in court? Would I be okay with having to go to jail over this thought of trying to steal, whatever it might be? And then hopefully you'll come to the conclusion, you know what, it's probably not a good idea, because no, I would not be happy with those potential consequences. Maybe I should just figure out a way to, make do with what I got, and to work for what I want, rather than to take the theoretically easy way out by stealing it. So we really need to think before we take action. Not be impulsive, not be reckless, not be foolish. Consider all possible consequences, and as much as possible, consider the consequences that you might think are impossible to happen. Anything that might happen, you should think about it and then decide, would you be okay with that? And if the answer is no, don't go there. All right, that's it for today. Take care. Peace be with you. See you next time.